Today's a good day for children of Bodom fans because a new plugin is about to hit your DAW. My name's Chris and I'm going to review HAVSUN DSP's new Reaper Suite, which is a plugin that emulates Alexis' guitar tone from 6 children of Bodom albums. Get ready! Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Now, like I said in the intro, today is about the Reaper Suite, which is a plugin that emulates Alexis' guitar tone from 6 different Children of Bodom albums. A very special guitar tone that not everybody likes, but for those of us who worship the man and that band, it's freaking perfect. I got talking to James, one of HAVSUN DSP's developers, on Facebook in the Bodom Gear collection group, which is an amazing place for Children of Bodom fans, and it's been a blast. Now, you heard a little bit of the plugin after the intro, but before we go into isolated sound clips, I just want to take you through what actually comes in the package once you bought the Reaper Suite. The very first and most important thing about the Reaper Suite to know is that it is the complete package. You don't need any other additional plugins or IR loaders or anything. You just install it and you're good to go. Everything is already baked in. So when you open the plugin window in your DAW after you installed it, you can already see how much love and care was put into this. The graphical user interface is amazing, and as you can see, for every single one of the presets for the albums, there's a different graphic that refers to the original album art. Like, you immediately want to start playing Alexis riffs once you see the different Reapers in front of you, and it's such a cool thing. I'm a sucker for a good GUI, and you know, I think nobody would have said a thing if there weren't the different Reapers for the different presets, but it makes it just so much nicer. Now, as you can see in the documentation, I'm gonna put it on the screen right now, there's an explanation for every single one of the 5 dials, which are basically there to, you know, change the sound the slightest bit depending on what kind of pickups you're using. And as you can see, for the gain control, there's actually the JE boost built into that. So yeah, this is super fucking cool. Now, depending on the pickups that you're using, if they're active, if they're passive, or maybe if you do have a built-in preamp for your passive pickups, you can adjust that gain dial to, you know, tailor the sound a bit better so that it sounds more like the album. So in my case, and I'm going to talk about the guitars that I've been using for this review in a second, I only have active pickups. I don't have the classic Alexis setup with a passive EMG with a preamp boost. Still, I'm using pretty much the dials for this demo how I personally would use them, just so you know. So for this review, I decided to go with 2 guitars, one is set to standard D and one is set to drop C, which were kinda the 2 tunings that were being used for most part for these albums. Of course, Something Wild was recorded in standard C sharp, but yeah, I didn't want to, you know, with the Floyd Rose and everything. So my demo for the Something Wild sound is going to be in standard D as well. So for standard D, this is the Jackson R24 FRH, you know, the unofficial Alexis signature guitar. This is my favorite guitar ever. If you've been to the channel before, I've started my whole review series because of this, and it's been used in demos, and this is my main guitar for my own melodic death metal band, so this is wonderful. It is that good. This has an EMG 81 in the bridge, so again, not the classic Alexis setup. It comes originally with an EMG afterburner, which I just put inside the body and it's always off. So yeah, just the plain EMG 81 sound for standard D. And for drop C, I have my Alexis 600. This one is the version with the Seymour Duncan blackout. So again, not the classic passive EMG plus boost setup that Alexis would use for the most part, but he did play that for a couple of, you know, shows, I think, or demos during the Blooddrunk era. I don't know if this is rare or not, but I've kept it in here because it's a cool pickup. It is super high output, so I needed to adjust the gain dial on the plugin for the drop C demos. But another of the guitars that I reviewed and used in demos a lot. It's a wonderful instrument. So yeah, Alexis 600 and drop C. So for the sound clips, what you're hearing is really just the guitar into the interface, which in my case is the Focusrite 18i20 Gen 2, and then into the Reaper Suite, and that's it. No additional post-processing or nothing. Now, since the presets in the Reaper Suite are so accurate in terms of sound compared to the real albums, James, the developer of HAVSUN DSP, and I got talking a bit if it would be actually a good idea to play Bodom riffs with it, because we weren't sure depending on how accurate I'm playing them, if YouTube would flag us or me or them then for content ID. So I hope you're not too disappointed, but I'm gonna play my own riffs for this demo, which are of course, I'm super influenced by Alexis and by Bodom, so they should be close enough to Bodom riffs. I hope you can enjoy that still. And with that being said, here are the sounds for every one of the single Reaper presets. And this pretty much concludes my sound clips and my review of the Reaper Suite plugin. I mean, what a time to be alive for something like this to be readily available. It has become, of course, a standard practice to use modelers and capture devices and all that to recreate the sounds of your guitar heroes. But the plugin with the user interface and everything, this is again something very special and shows how devoted the Children of Bodom fan community really is. Personally, if you would ask me which one of the albums is my favorite from these 6 presets, it would be Something Wild. But when it comes to the presets, I'm not even sure which one I prefer the most. I'm guessing the Blood Reaper, which is of course the Blooddrunk setting, because there's some additional gnarl to it that I really enjoyed. That being said, they all sound cool if you like that sound. Which brings me to, the actual sound of the plugin. It's not your typical, I'm not gonna name any other companies, but you don't get this kind of plugin to have a wide variety of mix-ready sounds, like not at all. This is for Bodom fans, by Bodom fans, to have that sound. And Alexis' sound, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. You could argue that some of these sounds are not even harsh, but just special or outdated or whatever. But this is where the magic actually is, right? You don't have that super compressed, high fidelity, mix-ready preset right there. You have something that makes you play, you need to play very clean. You need to be aware of what you're doing. And it takes you back in time to these albums that were mixed decades ago. I could totally see this plugin become like a secret weapon in a bag of tricks for producers who maybe aren't Alexis Laiho fans, who maybe are not after the Bodom sound. This is so unique, and even though it's just presets, they all sound so different that you might use this, I don't know, for a bridge, for an intro, for an outro, just for a solo, for a very special part in an album that has nothing to do with the overall Children of Bodom sound or production. So as a Bodom fan, yeah, of course I'm gonna recommend this. This is so fucking cool, and who'd have thunk that shit like this is possible, you know, to have it just ready, just like this. And all you need is an interface and a computer and you're good to go. But I'm also gonna recommend this as a producer because, like I said, this could be the perfect plugin for, you know, just the 2 bars in the song that need a very special sound that hasn't been heard before over the course of the track. So if you enjoyed the sounds of the plugin in this video, you go ahead and check out HAVSUN DSP's Reaper Suite. I'm gonna link the website in the description down below, and yeah, make sure to support your local Children of Bodom fanatic, because it's most certainly worth it to keep that guitar sound, that era of Children of Bodom alive with your playing, and I'm sure HAVSUN DSP will appreciate it. Also, if you like what I was playing, if you enjoyed some of the riffs and want to hear them more in a band context, I'd be super happy and thankful if you checked out my band, the Pine Tree Tapes. It is very much inspired by early Children of Bodom, Northa, Kalmar, you know, all that Finnish melodic death metal goodness. So thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed the sounds I got out of the plugin. I'm sure as hell this plugin is going to show up in future videos and demos. I had such a blast. And to everybody else out there who's an Alexis fan or Bodom fan, or, you know, Jackson, ESP, Randy Rhoads style guitars in general, if you're still on Facebook, go check out that Bodom gear collection group. I think it's almost like at 6,000 members or something. And be warned, it makes you want to spend money because it's just picture after picture and video after video of amazing gear played by amazing players. So yeah, I'm hoping to see you not only here on the channel in the future, but also in the Facebook group. And with that being said, I'm Chris, and that's that.